fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Deku and, well, most of his former classmates from UA. The ones that have joined the Meta Liberation Army, they worked for 3 years on a plan to try and break Deku out. They all knew that they only had one attempt at it, and after a long time of planning, they finally did it. Deku is a free man. During the chaos of a war between the heroes and villains, he successfully got out of one of the most heavily guarded prisons in the world. And they made it look like child's play. Now, with that, Deku's returned to the Meta Liberation Army. And after enjoying a few things he never had, i.e. his own room with a comfortable bed, an actual functioning toilet, a proper shower, and, well, good food, and privacy for that matter, along with even a change of clothes that actually do feel comfortable on him, he's done a few things. Now, Deku, yeah. After spending some time with Todoroki and even really thinking about a few things, he's discovered something. This morning he does lie in his bed. Or, well, really Todoroki's. He doesn't know how long she's had things planned out. This room, it already had clothes around his size put in here. And there's even the fact that there was a few things in here he used to own from his other room that are here as well. It feels strange. It's like she planned and knew he'd come back to her. She really did care a lot. That being what Deku does think, as he does, at least, look down to Todoroki, who she does have him wrapped up in her arms. And Deku, he does just wonder, as he's laying there on his side, how can he break the news to her? Deku, he's not really too sure how. He doesn't know what she's been through in this last 3 years. Does she really still care about him? What? Clearly, after the night they had, she must, right? It's just hard for him to think about. Redestro, the Meta Liberation Army. Their values and ideas, they're good, but they just have the wrong leadership. Deku knows for a fact after spending so much time away from this place. Redestro is all this. Sweet words and no action. He'll have no, problem planning something out and then doing just that. Plan. There's no execution. Redestro is like a scavenger. He will happily take everything he can after the dust does settle. And at the rate things are currently going at, there's not going to be any dust to settle. The villains, they're on the rise. Very soon, they might win. Heroes, they're falling, and even the ones the Liberation Army does have on their side or in their pocket, they've been trying to avoid active combat. The overwhelming amount of villains and Nomu that are out there, that's really the main problem for them. They would just have to take out the Nomu and then pick off what they can. If they can team up with the heroes and do pot-shot attacks like that, there's a chance they can win. Redestro's forced them into a corner. And then there's the fact that Deku doesn't even really know the numbers they have. Whenever he left, the number they had was somewhere around 180,000 members. However, what could that be now? It's just kind of messing with him. They must still be in that ballpark, right? Do they have more? Do they have less? And that's what Deku does think. As he finally does at least get up out of bed after Todoroki does wake up. Her standing up and going to walk out of the room. As Deku, he does sort of just wonder all this. Him going to slip on a button-up shirt or a shirt that does have multiple buttons and slipping his wings through. As he does walk into the area where a lot of people are sitting down and eating. As Deku, he does see the current people with him. There's, well, Ida, Jiro, Momo, Denki, and, well, Mineta. It's strange. All of the ones he does remember from Class 1A are here. No one else, though? They must have recruited somebody else, right? That'd be what Deku just think. As he does sit down with a bowl of cereal and just start to pick at it. As he does try to at least start asking questions. So, who else? Everybody is starting to stare at him. Who else is with us? Anybody else from UA, Class 1A, Class 1B, something like that? All of them looking at each other. Not exactly. Not exactly? Well, they're all official heroes. From what some of us do know, they fought on the front line. And they're actually making up a strike force, some of them. A strike force? Yes, some of the ones with the most powerful quirks. Or even most useful ones. They're all just trying to deal with the Nomu in their own way. Along with that, there's even, well, who was it again? There's a new hero. What was their name? Uh, who? I don't really remember, but there's somebody fighting with us. A hero's on our side? Not exactly. We don't really know what she's called, or anything like that. But I think you'll be quite surprised by them. Will I? Yeah, no. Deku, he does actually watch his minute. Does go to stand up. Well, this has all been quite riveting. Deku looking at him. Where are you going? Well, I need to get back to my post. Your post? Yep. Mineta actually going to turn around. As he does, go to dump his dishes into the sink and then go to turn back towards Deku. As he just put his arm up onto the wall. Technically, I'm not even really a member. What? Yep. Technically, I'm a spy, remember? I work for the villains. I'm actually pretty high up there now. You're a villain. Are you serious? I did kill two of those guys in the room you were in. I didn't even know that. Yeah, and your girlfriend here flambéed them. Deku actually went to look towards Todoroki. Flambé? That means she used her flames. He did smell fire. Huh. Yep. Besides, I do want to go see my girlfriend. Now, Deku, he immediately does go to drop his glass. Uh, uh, did you just say what I think you just said? Girlfriend. Yeah, I have one of those. I must have spent too much time in prison. You have a girlfriend? Yeah, a lot's changed, man. Besides, if I don't go see her, she'll be mad. She's pretty crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you're dating a girl while you're a villain. Yeah, she's a villain too. Ah, that just makes things more complicated. Is she a crazy one, or is she a determined one? That's kind of iffy sometimes. She's pretty weird, but I don't really mind it. The whole thing about it is it's just kinda up in the air with us. I've tried convincing her to come undercover over here, or even just quit the villains, cause, eh, after what happened with Stain and everything. Hmm? Stain? Wait, wasn't he the guy who crippled your brother, Ida? Yes, he was. However, he's long since passed. Huh? What do you mean? Someone finally killed him? Yes, they did. They did it in a very grotesque manner. This dream what he does say is he does get to sip his coffee. I like to shake his hand. I'm not standing up. What? Wait a minute, okay, that's actually more surprising than Minette having a girlfriend. You committing murder? A lot has changed. Clearly. Oh, God. Anyways, I'm completely thrown for a loop here now. I had a question. Anyways, my question. Do you all believe what Redestro's doing for the Liberation Army is right? Now, Deku, he does look at all of them. As many of them, they do just stare at him kind of confused with that question. What do you mean? I mean, how heavily invested are you guys in this army? I mean, well, me and Yorozu are technically pro-heroes. You guys are? Yes, we are. Technically, we're, well, new ones, straight out of UA High School. In fact, it was pretty interesting. A lot of schoolwork and stuff had to be pushed forwards. And we both graduated early. I can see why. Yes, we've been in the Hero Association for quite some time. Along with that, well, we do believe that Redestro does have a good idea. However, there are some things I would like to change. Okay, what about you, Denki, Shiro, Todoroki, Mineta? Now, Deku, he does at least get some confirmation from all of them. They do have their own little ideas of how this all could work. And there's actually Deku. Some of them, they do just seem complacent. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but what can they change? And that's what Deku does pose. They change something. They talk to Redestro. If they can, they see if they can get him to join in on this war. Get the revolution going. The way things are currently going, the villains will take over. And then they'll at least have another war to fight. Except, this won't be on an even playing field. They might be slaughtered. It will be a literal bloodbath. And that's what Deku, he's afraid of. The Meta Liberation Army, yeah, they have heroes in their pockets. But how many exactly? And there is one for Deku, he does go to Redestro later on into the day. As Deku, he does barge into the room where a meeting is being held by Redestro and many other people. As many pro heroes actually turn their heads and see Deku. As many of them, they're very confused. Now, we actually do currently have Deku. After walking in, he does see people in hero uniforms sitting down at the table along with even Redestro. The man's eyes going wide as he does see Deku. Hello, young Takame. It's a pleasure to see you again. Hello, Redestro. What do I owe the pleasure? Well, I would like to speak to you privately. Is that so? Yes, it is so. I've been through a lot. I'd also like to know exactly what's happening with the world currently. Things have changed. Yes, they have, young man. Please give me a minute. Let me finish up here and I will speak to you. Now, Deku, he does allow that. Some of those pro heroes sitting at the table, they would probably be tougher to deal with if he does start now. So, he does just allow them all to leave and then he does walk into the room. About 30 minutes later. Going to call me, what do I owe this pleasure? Redestro Decisus, good to sit down. Deku doing so as well. Well, I just got out of prison and I've learned a few things. Why aren't we involved? Is that your question? Yes. Why aren't we involved? From what I've seen, we're not doing anything. I see. Well, young man, the reason for that is because you'd rather scavenge. I know. Scavenge. Young man, I'd like to take the easiest opportunity that you can afford. You would rather avoid casualties. I know that. However, I question you at the same time. I haven't been around for years. And I learn you're not doing anything? Did that night in Camino not go how you expected? No, it didn't. Honestly, I expected that villain to be taken down. Then I expected things to be a bit easier for us. However, that is just the problem. I myself find it hard. Within the parameters I set up in my head, I thought things would be easy. All Might takes down All for One. Then sometime sooner than later, he goes into retirement. My data showed me that after he did start to fail or reveal himself in that last fight, that he would retire sometime soon. However, he was still alive and kicking for a few weeks after. Then he retired. Endeavor, however, where he lacks in power, he sure does make up for in skill with his quirk. In fact, he's made massive improvements in the last couple of years, especially fighting against your parents. And then there is Best Jeanist, the number 5 hero. He himself has actually been killed. What? He was injured in Camino. However, Hawks himself brought Best Jeanist's head to him. And that's a problem. There are many pro heroes in the higher rankings, all of which have been either picked off, killed, or are fighting. And some may have gone MIA. We don't know. However, the number 1 hero is all that's really left to fight off against All for One at the moment, along with even the remaining members of the Hero Association. They're collapsing. They're about to all fall. And the heroes we do have with us, majority of their agencies wish to stand with us. Through them, we can form, I don't want to hear it. Deku's standing up. I don't want to hear it. What you're doing is wrong. Young man, you question me? Yes, I do. You shouldn't be doing that. You're not doing what's best for the Meta Liberation Army. You're doing what's easiest for yourself. We stand and fight for freedom. Isn't that what we do? Freedom to use quirks? That's how things are here. However, what I'm hearing is you're not doing that. The fight will never be easy. It takes a leap of faith to win. And what you're doing isn't a leap. You're waiting to jump into a pool that, how's the best way to put it? You're jumping in a kiddie pool of floaties. You're being too cautious. You're going to land on your ass and find that you have gone into a lot of pain. How? You're not the best leader we have. This boy. What do you mean? I mean, I wish to give it a shot. Lead some people. How's that? Young man, I don't believe that you You don't believe I what? I have the guts? Fine. I've been liberated from prison, and I have the wings to spread like a phoenix. Is that an omen to you? Does it sound like one? Hmm? Really? That sounds interesting. What do you mean? Go on. Please. Before the war even started, I was put in prison. And then, just as it's at the high point, I am released? Come on, you can't tell me that's not something. A phoenix to rise from the ashes. Someone who lived in the old world, brought into a new one, just as it's about to change and go into its climax, the final part of its story. You can't say there's not something poetic about that. Hmm, interesting. What he says. Could it really be true? I like it. Hmm. He's got a point. He's been liberated, both in mind and body. And it's truly a fascinating idea. Hmm. I'll allow it. Hmm? What? I'll allow it, young man. You seem to be quite interested and invested in this. I'm very fascinated by what you have to say and what your actions will do for us. Hmm? Interesting. I didn't expect that reaction. Young man, young man. I'm just simply doing what is best for the Meta Liberation Army and its people. I would like to avoid casualties. You are aware of this. I am aware. However, I'm unaware as to how many people we do have. Do you mind telling me that? Official numbers. That's true. Hmm. In our numbers, we're actually surging over 1 million strong. 1 million? He has over 1 million people in his pocket, and he's still playing it this safe? You can't be serious. Now, Deku, he does look up towards your destro, as his expression to say it all. You are not fit. You're too cautious. You're too weak. He could probably reach across this table and snap his neck like a twig. Slit his throat with a feather. It could just be that easy. What should I do to make you know I am serious? I wish to lead us. Fine. 5 factories. Hmm? What? 5 factories, young man? The Nomus are produced in mass. In fact, there are numerous factories all over the area offering controls and reigns. 5 ones. 5 factories. Or you could hit one massive stockpile. Massive stockpile? Yes, yes, yes. The massive stockpile of Nomu. They themselves are quite strong. In fact, I think there you would encounter your mother and father as well. Hmm? What? Yes, it's true. It's a massive facility where Nomu are produced almost in large units a day. In fact, taking them out that way would be like destroying a fourth of their production. A fourth of their production? You're kidding me. That's interesting. Is it now? It is, really. I'll have to think about that. Deku going to stand up, as he does go to walk out of the room. Now, as Deku he is walking out, he actually does bump into somebody. Deku immediately going to turn and actually going to bring up his hand, apologizing before he does go to walk away. Thinking about that strange, short-haired woman he did just pass, as Lady Nagan, she does walk into the room and think about who Deku might actually be. And she does find it to be quite strange. For a split second she thought that was Hawks. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.